Well, what a thriller. What a thriller. Blue Jays up 6-1. Blow it. Comeback for the New York Yankees. They remain alive heading into a big game tomorrow. They've got the pitching tomorrow. The Blue Jays going with a bullpen game. Oh my gosh. Less than 24 hours, we do it again. Blue Jays still have the 2-1 edge. And meanwhile, in Detroit, the Mariners doubled up the Tigers. We're going to talk about it tonight with Lou Marston, my special guest, on the next edition of Giants Playoff Sports Talk Live.
And now, Giants Sports Talk Live. Here are your hosts, Eric and Glenn.
All righty, Glenn in with my special guest host, Lou Marston. Welcome in, Lou. Boy, the crowd is always happy to see you arrive. Good to see. All right, I mentioned it off the top. But Blue Jay looked like win, 6-1. They were in control, and then a little case of fumbleitis. Nobody could catch the ball, dropping balls, throwing them away. It was just a crazy night, and they didn't get the pitching, Lou.
No, and the errors came back to haunt them. You give a team desperate, as obviously the Yankees were, second chances, walks. It only takes one hit to really change everything, and really by 3 inches, it changed everything. Absolutely. And, Judge, who hadn't really done anything, and a lot of people giving him a bad time, hit the big 3-run homer. And, the Yankees today, they're 2 big guys who needed to step up, stepped up. And then, of course, their guy they got last year in the trade that nobody really talks about. Good trade they got from Florida, hit another bomb. Before you knew it, it was like an avalanche. And, when you're up 6-1, you got to keep adding on. You got to keep adding on in the playoffs. And, unfortunately, for you and if you want Toronto, it was 9 runs. And, before you knew it, it was 9-6. And, but one good thing about baseball, we come right back tomorrow. All 4 games tomorrow. So, hey, the Yankees had to win it. Toronto still is fine. They're up 2-1. That's the advantage of getting the home field advantage. And this is, something where unlike Philly and the Dodgers, Philly lost both games at home. Toronto handled their business. New York handled their business. If you'd be Toronto and say, hey, you're going to be up 2-1 after 3, you would take it. So, I look forward to tomorrow. But, yeah, you can't keep giving these teams so many chances. The 2 errors really, really hurt. And, it was just one of those things.
Absolutely. And, when we started the game, all of a sudden, the big bat. You can't argue with the talent of Vladdy Guerrero Jr., popped the home run early, took the crowd a little bit out of the game, got up 6-1. And like you say, errors, they certainly did come back. And it hurt tonight. Let's take a look at the stats, shall we, Lou? There you see it, early lead, but again, a rebound inning. The Yankees were able to come back, put 1 on the board. Jays, 4 runs in the 3rd, but look at that. Yankees, 2 in the 3rd, 3 in the 4th, and then 2 more in the 5th. They added 1 later on. They got to the pitching, Lou. We'll take a look at that in a second. The Jays, look at that. Not many hits. I believe after they chased the starter, the Blue Jays only came up with 3 hits in the game. Vladdy had the big bomb, a couple of scattered hits there. Santander, he struggled out in right field. He hadn't had a whole lot of playing time either. Ernie Clement had a hit. The pitching, oh my goodness. There's quite a list there for both teams. But again, the Yankees got to Bieber early. And you know what? To be honest, Blue Jays had their shot tonight, Lou, because Rodon, 2 1/3, 6 hits, 6 runs, couple of walks. He gave up that blast to Guerrero, a 9.72 postseason ERA. It was ugly pretty much for both starters. But again, that is how it played out tonight. The Yankees got to the Blue Jay pitching, and I thought that at the end of the day, you're right on. You give them extra outs, and it haunts.
It was bad, and you got to remember, first of all, that was not the second error was not an easy play. It was down the line, but the guy should have had it. He dropped it. 2 plays later, boom, 3-run homer. It's just one of those things where, it happens, especially on the road. Things happen on the road, funky things. It's Yankee Stadium where anything can happen. So, it happens. You know
what? It's playoff baseball. Like you
Yeah.
said, Lou, they go right back at it in the Eastern Zone. For the folks in Toronto, 11 minutes from now, it is tomorrow. So not a whole lot of time. They go right back at it. But if you're a playoff team, Lou, and you're going into enemy territory, even though you're up 2 games tonight, you cannot you don't deserve to be a playoff team when you're booting the ball around like that.
Yeah. And again, I use the phrase a lot. You go up, and it's the most amazing thing. You go up 2-0 right away. You can't get a shutdown inning. Then you go up 6-1. You can't get a shutdown inning. They all add up. It's just one of those things. And, I think you got to give the Yankees a little credit tonight too. They made them pay, a couple 2-out hits. They basically saw the door wasn't nailed shut. It was open. They kicked it through, and they got the 9-6 win. And I thought it was pretty cool today too to see Eric's buddy, Mr. Duvall, came in and actually showed up, and he's actually pitching sort of decent.
Yeah, there you go. And earlier today, I to be honest with you guys, and it's tough for me to talk about it. I didn't catch much of the Seattle-Detroit game because it was such a late start. They were rain delayed by about 3 hours, so we didn't do a post game for the Seattle-Detroit by virtue of. I mean, the game was only over for a little while, and then we knew we'd be coming on doing this. In that game, Seattle scored 2 in the third, 2 in the fourth, and they got out to the 4-0 lead. Got some runs later on that came in handy. 8-4 the final score. Gilbert was the winner, and Eric's buddy, Flaherty took the loss. And what do we got? Let me just take a quick peek. So you got a full slate of action tomorrow. You got Seattle, Detroit at, let's see, 12:08.
Yep.
2:08 Milwaukee and Chicago. Then at 4:08, you got the Jays and Yankees. That's a late afternoon. The night game's going to be another dandy. It's probably the best series of them all. Philadelphia at L.A. Nola versus Yamamoto. I think the Dodgers sweep. They're back home, and Yamamoto's going to be tough. But I think all of the games are going to be good tomorrow, but I think it gets better as the day goes along, Lou. When you get that Seattle-Detroit game out of the way, then you got, all right, Milwaukee Cubs could be a good one. Then Toronto Yankees going to be dynamic again at Yankee Stadium, and then they save the best for last.
And you got to remember, tomorrow, there might not be any more baseball after tomorrow. All the series could end.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, we get a little break, though. I mean, Lou.
Yeah, but still.
I love my postseason baseball, but my God, 4 games every second day or third day. It's getting a lot to
middle of the week, why not? And then again, it's a good time of the year, as I know and I don't know about a lot of the chat, but hockey started today, with the defending champions winning 3-2 over Chicago. So hockey's now back in the mix, baseball's in the mix, and like I said, I like it when they have 4 games. It's a little bit different for me, because I start the work day, get half of it done, and then baseball starts every 2 hours. Boom, boom, boom.
Oh, I am aware that hockey is underway. I had a nice little ticket going tonight. I had the upset. Pittsburgh blanked the Rangers 3-0 on opening night. Florida, they came back in the third for the win, 3-2. And then right now, they're early in the second. Colorado 1-0 over L.A. But that's, like you mentioned it, hockey going. We got NFL. We got the CFL playoffs around the corner for you and I, Lou.
Saskatchewan.
The Rough Riders, the green and white. It's a great time of the year, though, isn't it, Lou?
Oh, yeah. Good time. And then, on that note, look who's decided to come in. I love it.
Who graced us with his
finger. The finger.
That's right, man.
Now that we've discussed it all, Lou. Now that we've talked about it. No. Thanks for tuning in tonight, guys.
I tell you what, man. What hell of a game. Look, I watched a little bit of the Seattle and Detroit game, but because it was delayed, I was like, I'm not missing this New York and Toronto game because it was going to be something. And it lived up. Man, what a damn game. Here I thought Toronto, man, they come out with a 6-1 lead, and you're like, forget about it. And then it got to 6-3. And then the momentum changer, Aaron Judge, he hits that blast. I mean, Did you see where that pitch was and how did he turn on 100-mile-per-hour ball that was inside, a little bit elevated, and he turned on it? He not only did he turn on it, he almost hooked it foul. Hits the foul ball.
It literally missed by 6 inches of going over, and then it hit it like 2 inches on the side.
Unbelievable, man. I mean, that's what you pay the big guys for. You got
correct.
Vlad Guerrero Jr. making his best impression of Pete Rose sliding into home base. I mean, it was just the game was just incredible. It was perfectly scripted for playoff baseball. Momentum shift, guys. Right? There is definitely a momentum shift, and I'm pulling for the Toronto Blue Jays. Sorry, Yankees fans, but man, that was something. Again, you got to be able to pitch the ball, even when you got a 5-run lead. If you're not pitching the ball, you give that opportunity of the Yankees to get back in it.
Giving the edge to the Yankees tomorrow, Lou, with the bullpen game going for the Jays.
Well, I mean, again, desperation for the Yankees. They're at home, but I really think the quick turnaround sort of helps Toronto. They can put this beside them. Just say, hey, guys, we have no worries. Let's just play our ball. Let's get, play. We know it's a bullpen start. If we can just survive till like the 4th to 5th inning, the pressure's going to be on the Yankees because they have their ace. I really think, it's going to be one of those things where, New York obviously thinks they're going to win it, but I still think Toronto has just a little advantage just because of the quick turnaround. It's not, it's one of those things. And, as we said last night, the playoffs don't really start until someone wins on the opposing team. So, but no, hey, I'm excited. 4 games tomorrow, midweek, really helps everything out.
And all of them are elimination games. Yeah, every single one of them is an elimination game. And and I'll tell you what concerns me for Toronto, you got Cam Schittler. Cam is going tomorrow. And his last outing was pretty damn remarkable. Now, here's the thing. Glenn, we've talked about it with Skubal. We talked about it with Max Fried. Skubal, even after he had that epic start in Cleveland, was able to come back. He had a good game. Had 9 strikeouts, went like 6 or 7 innings. Max Fried, on the other hand, didn't do too well. Now, let's see what this young kid can do. Again, he's young, hasn't thrown a lot, so he might be raring to go. So I'm telling you that kid tomorrow, he could play some havoc. Let's see what happens. Because one thing that the Blue Jays are good at hitting.
I mean, Casey Mize is going for Detroit tomorrow, 14-6, Eric. Yamamoto, 12-8.
Yeah.
Everybody got caught up on Schlittler's play the other night. Big game, Red Sox.
It was huge.
But, I mean, he's 4-3, so he's a 500 pitcher, Eric. I mean, I'm not overly excited if
Look
I'm a
at the ERA.
Schlittler playing.
Look at the ERA. He shut down a pretty good Red Sox offense.
I didn't see it. I disagree. I don't think the Red Sox had much of an offense to begin with. So? Nah.
They're okay.
Red Sox shouldn't have been there. They don't have much.
3 games in 10 days, and that'd be the biggest game of his life.
It's going to be the biggest
elimination.
100%.
So I just think the other thing is, I think something we got to talk about is we don't know how the weather is going to be. I mean, obviously, I think the game in Detroit was very affected. We don't know how the weather is going to be in New York tomorrow.
Tomorrow, sunny skies, clear skies tomorrow night. Game time, 63 degrees. Going to be a beautiful night for ball.
But again, until you've done it, I mean, obviously, he's a young kid, 3 games in 10 days.
Yeah.
It's just something different. He's not like, Webb where he's earned it, but, it'll be rocking. Correct. And again, I think it's really the Yankees. If Toronto, if they can stay close, maybe either tied or maybe have a 1-run or 1-down lead by 4, the pressure's all on the Yankees.
You know what we're seeing too in that series, guys, is each team has their Superman, whether it's Judge or Guerrero, and then it's a cast of characters. And both, I got to hand it to them, Judge and Guerrero, they're lighting it up in the postseason now, especially in this round. Judge, big home run tonight, like you said, Eric. How he fought. He wristed it. He wristed it out and high off that pole. That was, a moon shot. And then you've got Guerrero, who's just, when he gets one, look out. So both of those guys, and I think Guerrero is 9 for 13 in the postseason, or 8 for 13. Otherwise, he'd bat around 600. I mean, that guy, the stars came to play, and they shine in this series.
Absolutely. No, you're spot on. Gosh dang, man. And then, of course, with now the stars that aren't shining are the Philadelphia Phillies, man. I don't know what the hell's going on with them because their top three isn't getting anything done. They're going to look, if they want to stay alive, they're going to have to do something tomorrow. But today's game, man, you remember how I said before the postgame, you can almost feel when things are just changing. You can feel something is going on here. After that Judge home run, it just felt like it almost like let the air out for the Blue Jays just for this game because they wind up giving up doubles all over. Jazz winds up hitting a deep one to right field. It just felt like it's like son of a gun, man. It's just how are you going to stop the bleeding? Unfortunately, the Toronto could add on. You got to be able to add on. And look, they got their 6-1s pretty damn quick. And then it stopped the New York Yankees bullpen actually got it done. I think they had altogether, 7 strikeouts with the Rodon didn't do shit, but everyone else came in and stepped up. So how about Duvall? He came in today.
Yeah, we were talking about him and how he came in, and he's been actually pretty good in this whole postseason. He's gotten blank innings. And one of the keys tonight for the Yankees, too, was crooked numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, the Judge 3-run shot, they were able to just, they didn't have to chip away. They were right back into the game with a couple of swings of the bat. So that was a key, I thought, too. And again, hats off, Aaron Judge. I mean, he's playing like a beast there for the Yankees, trying to keep them alive.
They must have been in a cage batting against Louis Varland's freaking. You know how they got a pitch machine where they can replicate?
Do anything, yeah.
Right? They had to have him loaded up in the machine because they were tattooing him. I mean, this is 100 miles an hour that this guy's throwing, and they were not missing it. The Jazz, I mean, that one, gosh, that was right down Broadway. But
Eric, one of the things I said with Glenn is, people sort of forget it was last year they made that trade for
Chisholm.
For Chisholm.
Jazz. Yep.
Very underrated trade. Now look at him. I mean, he's a completely different player. And I think one of the things we talk about with Chapman and Adames, it's amazing. You're a good player, but when you have guys helping you out like Judge and Stanton, you become a great player. And that's really why we keep saying the Giants need a star, because Chapman might be good batting 6th or 7th. But when you have these guys, I never saw Chisholm as a guy like this. I mean, this guy's been unbelievable. I just wanted to bring that up. A nice little trade under the floor that nobody really talked about. And, he's been huge for them all year. But, Eric, I think what's great about this, 4 games tomorrow, baseball playoffs at its finest. And, there's nothing like it.
No. Hey, there you go.
Playoff
Nothing
baseball.
like it.
Nothing like it.
Another 4-gamer. And like you said, man, it's going to be something. And with all 4 of them, I mean, like I said, if a certain team wins, the other team's going home. Damn, I tell you, it could all be settled tomorrow. Both CSs could be settled tomorrow. So
I said just before you came in, Eric, I said to Lou, in my opinion, just the teams involved, I feel like the momentum builds. You got Seattle, Detroit. I'll watch it. Then you've got Milwaukee, Chicago, a little more interest in that. Then you got Toronto and the Yankees, followed by the Dodgers and Phillies over at Chavez Ravine. It seems like it's going to come to a crescendo tomorrow night. That Philly Dodger, I mean, if the Dodgers sweep the Phillies, and Lou, you're talking about guys who, are superstars. Where in one series you've got the stars shining, Judge and Guerrero. I mean, namely, those are the 2 guys who you look for on each team. But I mentioned it to you guys last night. Whatever happened to Bryce Harper? He ain't no superstar no more. This guy has had an average year. His home run totals were down. He just, did he take the money? And this is what just seems to be the problem in baseball. Guys get their big bankroll and then.
Well, I think
how many years has he been with Philly? Is he coming up on like 7, 8 years? Him and Machado signed the same, right? They both signed the 10-year deal, which now you would take at $300 million.
Yeah, I know. Right.
How many years? I mean, we don't have time, but you know what I mean? I think the one thing is there's so much pressure on him, and he's maybe lost just a little bit. But when these guys are coming up throwing 98 miles an hour with so much movement, a couple of years, this is why, I know Dan brings up Chapman. In 3 years, you think Chapman can't hit now? How is he going to be in 3 years?
Right.
If you notice the two studs that we talked about, Aaron and Vlad, they're both young. They're both really young. They're not over 30, 32 like, some of these other superstars. And you got to remember, it's hard to step up all the time. Again, it's a big difference because Aaron Judge, before that homer, what's wrong with the guy? He can't do anything. He's not getting homers. Even though he was batting like 380, people, the expectations are just so big. But also when you're getting paid that, you're supposed to come through. That's why you pay him all that money.
That's why you pay him the money, is to perform like they're performing. Both Judge and Vlad Guerrero have earned up to this part, for at least this year, their contract, because they went out there and they took care of business, both in the regular season and also in the post. And to your point, Glenn, I mean, you got some pretty damn good players on that Phillies lineup, and they're just not coming to trade.
Not cohesive for some reason.
Right.
And you know what? Back to the Blue Jays, we're all over. We just wrapped up that Blue Jay game. If you're just joining us, 9-6 after a 6-1 Toronto lead. So the Yankees are still alive. Jay's got to be missing Bo Bichette. I see him in the dugout.
We got to talk about that. Hey, we got to talk about that. I meant to talk about
the replacement, the DH. Yep.
Oh my God, he catches the ball. There's no Judge home run. And hey, Blue Jays could be popping champagne right now.
And the first error in the game also cost him a run.
Kiner, Falefa. Yep. It ate him up. And look, the ball, that's fine. It went off his chest. But the problem is he wasn't looking down at the ball to pick it up. He was already looking at first base, and his hand hits the ball away. And next thing you know, hey, it's a free pass. Yeah. And like you said, Lou, you get that run that comes across. Same thing with the damn shortstop running out. It's in his webbing of his, and it just bloop.
I just said that to you, didn't I, the other night, Eric? I made the comment to you, Eric, and it stands pat tonight. I said to you in the playoffs, you can't be giving teams 4 and 5 out innings. You just can't do it. As soon as that happened, two things you can't do, in my opinion, in the postseason. You can't walk the leadoff batter, and you can't be booting the ball. Right. Jays were doing both tonight, and thus they lost. You know what? They deserve to lose, in my opinion.
That's fair, right? You got to do the small things. How many times have we talked about that? You play fundamental baseball and you do the small things, more times than not, you're going to come out ahead. And unfortunately, because of the deal, and you had Santander trying to dive. By the way, can we talk about why is Santander even in the lineup? I understand they paid him a lot of money, but why did they
keep about the guy who's got to be like brought in slowly? He didn't. Where was his rehab? I didn't even know where. Dude, this is the playoffs. Play the guys that got you there.
Yes. I didn't understand it. Lou, what did you think? Did you think they should have started Santander?
I mean, at least he fouled the ball off batting right. Once he went to the left side, he was just fooled. Again, this could go, hey, you're missing the bat of Bo Bichette. You know what I mean? You're missing his bats. You got to put somebody else in because you feel you need to. But yeah, he couldn't do anything. He's not earning his pay. It's one of those things where I just thought overall it was a bad game for Toronto, and again, maybe they were looking ahead. Hey, we're up 6-1.
Could have been,
It was one of those things. Hey, we got him. But again, you got to keep adding on, and we got a chance to bury somebody, because New York at night sort of reminds me of Coors Field. You never have enough runs, especially with that team.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, hey, it's one game. It's funny because they play tomorrow, and if Toronto, let's say, squeaks out like a 3-2 game, nobody cares about tonight. But that's what's so great about baseball, And I think, okay, thank you. So Bryce Harper's been there 7 years. It feels like he's been there like 15. I just think,
wow,
I know he's young,
7 already. Ooh.
But you got to remember he also played with Washington. So that's probably 12 years in the minors. I mean, 12 years in the majors. He's just getting older.
He's got to be.
He's
Yeah, he
gotta be,
remember
what,
he
31,
started when he was
32?
19.
19, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Well, like you said, Lou, instead of the sweep tonight, I mean, it was there for the taking up 6-1.
yeah,
Instead of the sweep, now they got to sweep this one under the rug. Right
yeah.
back at it. It is. It's tomorrow in Toronto.
It's tomorrow.
So
And there'll be
it's,
games like this. There'll be games like this. If Toronto gets in and they respond tomorrow, there'll be a game in the ALCS where they might have a problem. But since they've been through it, they'll be able to come back. And obviously in the World Series, it's not going to be easy. You know, a lot of times, especially teams where Toronto hasn't really been there for a while. Got to remember the Yankees were in the World Series last year, how quickly we forget. So they know what it takes. There's going to be crazy games. Just how do you bounce back? But Eric, as I said, Glenn, when you first started, that's why you got the home field. You know, they still got to get beat twice, not just tomorrow. They still got to get beaten twice. But, you know, I think Toronto, being the caliber type of team tomorrow, they'll come out strong. And, they'll show the rook, hey, ready. You're not ready for prime time yet. And, we'll see it. And I think Glenn brings up a good point. You know, I'm excited, but it's just going to get better and better and better.
And the fact you talk about home field advantage, they'll go back, don't they, to Toronto for the final game.
Yes.
And what did I mention last night? The Blue Jays 1-8 versus the Yankees at the Rogers Center this year. 1-8. So as my dad would say, Yankees are overdue.
Yeah,
but numbers speak for themselves. They've won 1-9.
Glenn, the Yankees are 1-8, not Toronto.
Yeah, they're 1-8 at the Rogers Center. The Yankees, they own them. They own the Yankees.
Yeah, I'm just making sure. I got it.
Gotta be careful though. It's postseason time, man. You know how that goes.
I think the Jays, the bats come tomorrow. I mean, you can shut them down for a game and the errors. Just tighten it up tomorrow and do what you do. Just know your role. Play your role.
And that's the thing. If they start pressing, like you said, I think you summed that up nicely. Go out there and do what you've done all year. Don't change anything. You start pressing, and that's when mistakes start happening. You just can't do that. I was looking at Bryce Harper. This is his 14th professional year, Lou. 14th. Unbelievable. Did you realize he's got a 13-year deal with Philly? He's still got 6 more years left on that contract.
Because I thought they both were 10. That's right. Machado signed a 10-year deal, $300 million.
He's about to be 33 in about 10 days or so.
And Eric, the Giants almost had him. They were so close. They finished 3rd out of 3 teams trying to get him. And then I thought, Eric, tonight, another very interesting stat. And
there you go. I got my Bryce Harper Blue Jay hat on there.
All right, there you go.
Yeah, he wears it so high.
His hat is always up. Like he looks like he's 7'2".
It's the same thing with what's his name, the quarterback from Kansas City Chiefs. His hat or his helmet always looks like it's sitting higher than it should be.
I'll tell you something I heard tonight that's sort of crazy. Detroit Tigers have not won a home game since September 6th. Let me repeat that.
What?
They have not won a home game since September 6th, more than a whole month. So
no way. That ain't getting it done, man. That's not getting it done. No kidding. That's a crazy stat.
Yeah. So,
the Giants are losing. Eric, there you go. I hope you're writing that. Take notes tonight, Eric. Take notes. I know you love your Tiger notes. So if the Giants have a bad September next year, you can say, that's what the Tigers last year. You love going back to Tigers.
2025 Detroit Tigers. Yeah. They don't, hey, the Giants, they got close, but not enough. Only good in horseshoes and hand grenades. But again, this is what playoff baseball is all about. It's just watching the excitement. Who's going to step up? Who isn't going to step up? Right now, as far as this series here, the Blue Jays and the Yankees, it's the big guys who are stepping up. It's not really, you could say
the stars.
The one youngster I would say is Trey Savage, and we're going to see him if it goes to a game 5. That's who's going to have to be. Can you imagine this? A rookie who had 3 career starts in the regular season, shuts down the Yankees in game 2, and yet he's going to pitch the pivotal elimination win or go home game.
I don't know. They were saying that about Schlittler a week ago, Eric.
So yeah, he did the same thing. It was win or go home, right? No, was it? Yeah. Wasn't it? Was it a win or go
Friday home? Friday night prime time in Toronto.
And you never get, you don't even get to take you just take a deep breath. As Eric would say, breathe in.
Through the nose, not through the mouth.
Breathe out. And we've got 4 tomorrow, and they're going to be just as good.
It's going to be something. Matter of fact, let's bring that up real quick. Let me see. This is what's on tap tomorrow. Seattle and Detroit at Detroit, 12:08 start. Bryce Miller versus Casey Mize. Milwaukee at Chicago, 2:08. Quinn Priester against Jameson Tyone. Again, you find that one on TBS, True TV, or HBO Max. Toronto at New York, FS1, 4:08. Undecided because it's going to be a bullpen game against the Cam man. I'm not even trying. I don't want to butcher it. And then the one that the icing on the cake, so to speak, is the Philly at Dodgers. Can Philly stay alive? Aaron Nola versus Yoshinobu Yamamoto. There it is.
Oh, my God. Like Lou said, we got hockey tomorrow night to watch, Lou. I put my bets down on hockey, and then I've got Game 3 of the WNBA playoffs. You know, I'm lucky. I use the Fire Stick, and I get to do the split screen. I'll have at least 3 games going tomorrow night.
Wow.
I'll have at least 3. I mean, you know, Bernice is always asking, do we really need 3 TVs? I still want one in the bedroom, and that is off the table. I said, I can just lay here all day and watch.
You'll never leave.
No TV in the bedroom. So
yeah, so it's funny. You bring up the Fire Stick. For people that don't have a Fire Stick, it's about this big. When you hook it up, you literally can get everything.
Yes,
everything. I mean, on a given Saturday, I get like probably 30 racetracks. I have on 2 screens, and I can pick any college football. You know, I don't need, with the ESPN.
I don't get all of it. I mean, Lou, I pay for mine. So
yeah. All right. Well, I'm just, throwing it out there. So if you ever need a nice gift for dad for Father's Day, or a good Christmas gift for a buddy or dad, little Fire Stick, $34.99. Great investment. Just so you know.
They're making them now, though. You can't put the gray area apps on, so they're becoming. You got to get one. You got to get one while you can get them, because they're going to go obsolete. But anyway, let's keep it legal here. Anyway, what else do you want to talk about, Eric? We covered it all before you got here.
Yeah. Hey, that's fine. Yeah.
I'm excited, guys. Baseball playoffs are just something like it. I mean, I still think probably NHL playoffs are probably still the best first round.
Oh,
but when you get to the second round, baseball, it's just so different, because every inning, and that's where I really miss it, where the Giants weren't in it. Because, I mean, if I were like a game tomorrow, I start counting the outs. God, we're 11 outs away. We're going to go up 2-1. Who's going to be pitching? It's sort of a relief the Giants aren't in it. You know what I mean? Because this way we can enjoy these games. There's no worry.
Right.
It's sort of a give and take, too. But no, I really.
Well, let's call a spade a spade, Lou. We wouldn't be in the second round anyway.
I know, but
I tell you what, though, what I saw all over Twitter today was the anniversary of big time Timmy Jim. And remember, he had that 14 strikeout game against the Atlanta Braves.
Atlanta Braves game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, man. The glory days.
It was a different, that was a different era, Eric.
That was a decade ago.
Lou. Yeah, but Lou, you got to witness big time Timmy Jim right there in that front row. That must have been something special.
Yeah, Lou, what was the most here's a good question for Lou. What was the most for me? It was the Kane game. I was at the Kane game against Houston.
The perfect game.
What was your?
I was not there. I was at the second no-hitter against San Diego. No, the first no-hitter in San Diego. I was at the racetrack and saw the Giants. I think it was 146 pitches when we got the no-hitter there. I was at Bonds 500, 600. His when
were you there for 656?
That was I can't remember. I was there when he had, was it 81 off the knuckleball against the Dodgers? I was there when he got that. You got to remember, my seats weren't the greatest when Bonds, because everyone wanted to sit trying to get one of the balls. So the seats were sort of where you wanted to go.
Gotcha.
I think probably the most memorable game, probably in the last 20 years, is I was at the clincher rain game where we beat St. Louis Game 6. Yeah, the Scooter Road ended where, and it was coming down, And if it wasn't game 6 and there was no other action, they probably would have stopped. But it was brutal. And what's so funny about it, probably 95% of the crowd, if you watch the highlights, nobody had rain parkas. Nobody was prepared for the rain. That game sort of had everything. That was also the 100 pence where he hit the ball 3 times.
That was a triple. Yeah, there you go.
So that was early. The Giants were down. They came back. And then, of course, the rain and then the wait ended. And, that whole series was pretty special because you remember Scudero got taken out and they said, oh, my God. Matt Holliday, he might not be in. But, to end it that way in the rain, and, of course, they have the bobblehead like that was pretty dramatic. It was pretty special. Now, again, it's a playoff game, so it's a little bit higher. I still think the first game where the Dodgers killed us, like, my God, a guy hit 3 homers. Is this how this ballpark's going to be? We didn't sit in our seats. My dad sold the tickets to Larry Ellison. He owns a little company called Oracle. So he, through a connection through somebody, they paid, back then, somebody offered you, I think it was like $4,500 for the new thing. But I did go to if you remember the first game ever there where the Yankees was the expansion game before opening day. The Yankees came, which was still pretty cool. So I got to sit, front row for that. But I think probably, the game 6 win against St. Louis. Because again, people in the chat don't know the rivalry between the Cardinals and Giants in the 80s, 90s, all the way up to 2000 was pretty dramatic. Very dramatic, and it was just one of those things. And it was special the way it started and the way it ended.
Lou, were you there for game number 1, 2, 3? I guess it was. No, 2. Were you there for the Cubs game? And even though it was a loss, it's one of the ones I wish I had been there. Bernice used my ticket. She was just down the aisle from me. She was like next
game
section.
2, or was it? I was at game 4, which would have been the second, because remember it opened up in Chicago. So I was there game 4 when we led by 3 going to the 8th. And I actually was with a guy who works for venture capitalists. And he goes, Lou, you get the tickets. I'll get the jet. We had a private plane flying because they were going to play the next day in Chicago. And everything was set up. And, of course, I think it was, 6 or 7 straight hits. And we went from, we're going to Chicago. Oh, my God, we're now eliminated.
We're going home.
And we were all set. For game 5, we had we had our pitcher.
That was a heartbreaker, man. That was a heartbreaker.
It was tough.
When you just can't do anything. I mean, the pen, the Bochy pulling his hair out. Poor guy.
One out. That's all
I still say Mike Kruko the next day in KBR most fluid I've ever heard him. Oh, he was pissed. And one thing about him, he calls a spade a spade. He may be employed by the ball club as a broadcaster, but that guy tells it like it is. And the next day, I wish I had the recording, because he said this freaking organization knew they needed bullpen help. And did we get any at the trade deadline? No. We deserve to lose. What you saw last night is what was supposed to happen, because we didn't get the deal done before we reached this part of the year. And it's true.
Glenn, that was 9 years ago. 2016.
That's unbelievable.
Hard to believe, isn't it?
Yeah, it just seemed like the other day.
By the way, Lou, were you there for the clincher with the Ishikawa home run
against St. Louis? No, I did not.
You were at that one.
One of the things you guys got to remember is one of the things I would do with my dad, and my dad had a partner at the time, is in 2010, I went to 2 games, I think, out of 11 playoff games. The other 9 we sold, and it paid for the next season. And my dad and his partner each made $5,000. It's not like these tickets. That's the one thing. And again, when you go to a playoff game, again, you want to be there, but sometimes the money's sort of hard to say no.
Gotcha.
And it's one of those things where, it was. When the Giants were in the World Series, I was in Chicago too for work, where literally I probably had 25 calls because people just wanted to be there. The other thing too is it was just, they weren't my tickets back then. It's my dad's tickets. Hey, can you sell the tickets? I could use the money this way. They're paid for next year and we can enjoy them more. And again, sometimes I've been, I wish I would have sold the tickets in that horrible game 4 loss, but I went. It's sort of a give and take. You never know. That's why you go to the games, and that's why when you win it, it's such an emotional win. But when you lose, those emotional losses, man, it takes a while to get back.
It does. Hey, guys, I'll be right back.
Has there ever been a game? I was telling Eric Lou, that there was a game this year, late in the year, and Caitlin Clark was supposed to play the Valkyries. So Indiana comes to town. She's hurt, doesn't play. Initially, we had thought about selling the tickets. I could have got all of my season ticket money back if I had sold the 2 tickets. Was there a game? Obviously, I went to that game because there was no money to be made that night because she was hurt. I mean, she was the draw. And people were paying like $3,000 for a game. I'm like, you want to go to the game? I can watch that one on TV. Money talks, bullshit walks. I'll watch it on the tube. Was there ever a game, Lou, where you just said, this is a big game and somebody's offering me big? Was there ever one you opted to just sell?
Well, again, they're not like they're my tickets, they're family tickets. My dad had a partner. So he would ask me, hey, what do you want to do? We would always sell the first game of the playoffs, which always was good money. And then depending on if you win or lose, game 2 doesn't go as much, game
1 of anything, whether it's a postseason, the regular season, opening. How many of these cities like Detroit? Opening day is a sellout. The next day, there's 9,000 people.
I mean, like this year, I went to opening day. Usually, I get people, and it all depends on the opponent. It was like we get Seattle, which now who knows? It could be in the World Series. Doesn't seem like much opening day. But when it's the Dodgers, I have somebody where money's not a problem. They go, hey, Lou, we'll give you $5,000 cash for opening day. And before they can even finish the sentence, I've already gotten the tickets and I want to drop them off. You know what I mean? It's hard to say no to that because it's just a regular game. I don't really sell much. I do more like concerts. There's a venue in Sacramento. They have Thunder Valley. They have a place called The Venue. Like Def Leppard played there. And I had second row aisle seats. Tickets cost me $145. I sold them on StubHub for $1,250 each. I've seen Def Leppard 5 times in the last 8 years. So what I try to do is put money where it's so outrageous. If somebody takes it, and again, that happens a lot where like sometimes you're on StubHub for a Giants game and you go, what is this guy doing? He wants $2,500 a ticket where everything else around him is like $500 because he'll say, hey, I'll give it up for $2,500, but anything below, I'm going to the game. It's one of those things. I mean, again, you can almost say the same thing. Was there so many times where you wanted to sell it and you didn't, and was it worth it?
The days of selling your tickets, Lou, to a Giant game have gone by the way of the dodo bird because you can get in for $5 now. So
yeah, it's changed. It's changed a lot, and again, one of the things that Larry Bear praised, and he doesn't really praise much anymore, is we've had a sellout for 236 straight sellouts. This year, if you notice, they only said they had 14 sellouts.
Yeah,
it seemed like every game they had more. Now they still did 3 million, but I think next year, like I said on an earlier broadcast, it's going to be very tough because these weekend games, when you have Colorado, that doesn't really draw. You're going to have Chicago,
you're saying
it's going to be tough. So we'll see how good the marketing is for the Giants, because you can't just keep giving away the same things.
Absolutely. They need a new marketing ploy there altogether. They need a new marketing slogan. I mean,
I think they will.
Season is based on that. I mean, they got my God, and ownership, especially Larry. I mean, tonight another sellout. I'm there. You're there. A lot of them, Lou, and dude, they're a lot empty. Larry Bear.
You want answers? You can't handle the truth.
He can't handle the truth, and he doesn't tell the truth.
Handle the truth.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah, I agree, because there were a couple of games, like the game I went with Eric and Marty Lurie. I mean, the upper level was empty, and I looked, and there was 34,250. Like, what? 34,000? Now I know there was a late arriving crowd. We even commented on that.
Yeah, there was.
It wasn't even 2/3 full. And again, then somebody in the chat goes, "Yeah, but those are tickets sold." Okay, well, they have a problem because there were a lot of games where I went to and it was like, are you kidding me? There's not even 25,000 here.
No, that's a lot of. Isn't it ironic too that it's those are all sold tickets and they're all way, way, way up there. People didn't come. I just call BS on that.
Yeah.
I don't agree.
Who knows what the hell they're doing?
Or they give them away.
Yeah,
like
that's
during the summer.
Yep.
Especially during the summer where, at least growing up when I used to go to Candlestick, same thing with the Niners. If you had a milk carton and you would go on a certain day, you got in free. I think they let a lot of kids in the bleachers. I think the most popular day there for sort of the young generation are Thursday nights because they can go in the bleachers, drink, and, most of them don't go to school on Fridays. So, and then the weekend is more of those weekend deals, where you got to remember right field, which is only, I think, 3 or 5. It also includes food. So when you buy a ticket, it includes $25 worth of, food and drinks. As you remember, when you go with me, I get a free beer and I get 20% off. So they're really, it's not like they're selling. They're saying, hey, we'll give you a free beer too, and you get 20% off all your food. It all adds
Wasn't
up.
that long ago I was going to some Oakland A games, and we went to an afternoon game during the week, but you bought your gas, and I can't remember. There's a little station if you're riding up past Post Street, down that way, the little gas station. You bought your if you filled up with gas, which you had to do anyway, they give you a coupon. You give the coupon and $2. Give them your toonie, Eric. $2 in your coupon got you admission to the ball game in the afternoon. It got you a beer and it got you a hot dog. They were paying you to go to the ball game.
Hey, real quick, guys. Yesterday we made our predictions. We all went 1-1, right? Seattle won, but Toronto, damn them, they blew it. Tomorrow, let's do tomorrow. Got 4 games. Who do you got? Let's start with you, Glenn. Bryce Miller, Casey Mize. Who wins tomorrow, Seattle or Detroit?
Okay, I wasn't ready for that. You're just throwing that right at us.
Yeah.
All right. No warming up in the bullpen. Just right to the game here.
Let's go. Come on.
Boy. I'm on the flip side of the coin here. Mize is 14-6. So you're up against a tough pitcher. But what did you say, Eric, was their record at home? They haven't won it since September.
That's what Lou said. Lou said they have not won.
They haven't won a home game since September 6th.
And it's an elimination game.
And today is the 7th. Tomorrow's the 8th. It's been a month. Either Detroit's long overdue or Seattle wraps it up. I think Seattle wraps it up tomorrow. Again, I don't like to even look at pitching. The better team is Seattle.
Okay. Lou, Seattle, Detroit.
I think Seattle has to win tomorrow because they don't want to go against the stud in Game 5, where that'll be a big advantage.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm gonna say Seattle as well. So we're all good on that one. All right, let's go. Second game, Milwaukee at Chicago. Quinn Priester going for the Brewers. Tyone going for the Cubbies.
Want me to give you a little heads up, Lou? The Cubs are the favorite tomorrow. They are the favorite. Milwaukee goes with Priester 13-3. They're the better team. That series is over, and I'm going to cash a ticket.
Okay.
Sweep.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Milwaukee. I think we're all in agreement on this one. Oh, geez. Oh, here we go. Woo! New York. You got Toronto Blue Jays against New York Yankees. Undecided for Toronto throwing a bullpen game. New York throwing up their young guy, Cam Schlittler. Schlittler. Who do you got, Glenn?
Schlitzbeer. Ooh. Well, I got to keep riding the wagon with. I got my new Valkyrie color Blue Jay hat on, so I got to support the Jays, Eric. If they don't win tomorrow, the pressure is on them going back home. You can talk about home field advantage in a series, but in that one, you give the Yankees a run, and they are overdue to win up at the Rogers Center. I think the Jays got to get it done tomorrow. They just sweep away today's game. Speaking of sweeps, just sweep it away, forget about it, go back to doing what you did, and I think they could take care of business in the Bronx tomorrow night.
All right, Lou.
I'm so glad this game is tomorrow. Hunter doesn't have to worry about today. They played as bad as you can. It's just one loss. They'll come back tomorrow. The thing is what Glenn spoke about earlier and Eric, how good the Yankee bullpen was. let's see if they can repeat. And my prediction is a former Giant is going to give up a long ball as Toronto wins 3-1.
Oh shit!
Ooh, he says that it's overdue. It's over. It's coming around.
I'm gonna have to go with the Yankees, guys. You got Toronto throwing a bullpen game. Yankees are throwing a bullpen game. They used a lot of their relievers today. Can they come back and do it again tomorrow? And I think that Cam kid is going to come out and try to deal again. Whether or not he does or not, we'll see. I think this goes to Game 5. I think it goes back to Toronto. I think the Yankees take tomorrow. They got momentum on their side. That's a real thing. Momentum is a real thing, and I think the New York Yankees get it done tomorrow. All right, here we go. Last one. This is probably the easiest one. Philadelphia against the Dodgers in LA. Aaron Nola going for the Phillies. Yamamoto going for the Dodgers.
I'm glad you mentioned momentum, Eric. Dodgers have all the momentum. They're unbeaten in the postseason. They've got Yamamoto on the hill. Philadelphia, will the real Phillies step up to the plate? I don't see where their offense is coming from so far. And it's in LA. LA. Cards are stacked. As the new saying is, the Dodgers hold all the cards.
Oh, okay. There you go. Lou?
I can't remember the last time Nola actually pitched a good game.
I know.
He's ineffective all year. I think he's going to get pounded. Don't be surprised if maybe Phillies bats come alive, but it's more of a high-scoring game. But I think the series is over.
I think you're right. I agree. I think LA Dodgers, man, that you know how bad that sounds, that feels. The vomit comes up to the throat here, and you're just like.
And then Eric, the other thing is, if Milwaukee wins tomorrow, the Dodgers almost want to win because then they don't want to have to play Game 4, Game 5, where Milwaukee's going to have the advantage. So that's something I look at. I mean, it might mean nothing, but it's one of those things where shoot. We're going to have 5 days off where these other guys are going to have to force. I mean, anything's possible, but I'm just saying that's something that I look at.
And I think Yamamoto's overdue for one.
Yeah.
Lou thinks it could be high scoring. I think the Phillies have a problem tomorrow night against Yamamoto. Just a gut feeling. I think he'll eat up significant innings. And when all is said and done, they take him out of the game and Philadelphia might have a run or two. It's my prediction.
All right, here let's do a prop bet type of one. How long does Greg Counsell keep Jameson Taillon as the starting pitcher? When does he go to the bullpen?
See, those are tough, Eric.
He's been going to the bullpen early.
It depends. I mean, if he comes out dealing and Milwaukee's not on the board, but if Milwaukee starts scoring in the first inning, and it's going to be a short leash. But
no, I get that.
But who knows?
I mean, look what he did with Monica. Look what he did with Matt Boyd in the wild card game.
Dude, it's baseball. They take him out early, and what's going to happen? They'll pull the San Francisco Giant effort. They're just going to. We'll be here tomorrow night saying, "Why did they leave him in?" Who knows, Eric?
There's no tomorrow, Eric. So I say third inning. There's no tomorrow.
Third, he goes three. Yeah, that bullpen's been used a lot for the Cubs.
I'll use again reverse psychology on that, Lou. If there's no tomorrow and he's dealing, hasn't given up a hit, I ain't taking him out. I'm leaving him in. I'm leaving him in. He doesn't. If he's my pitcher, he's not coming out. I don't care if it's the sixth inning. If he hasn't given up a hit.
Oh, well, I agree there.
A one-hitter. I'm sick of that, Lou. Eric and I go on about it ad nauseum, but when the playoffs roll around, you got a guy who's dealing. He faces 11 batters, strikes out 9, and then they pull him out of the game because he gives up a hit. What the hell?
Eric assumes that Milwaukee's going to hit him, and what is Counsell going to do? I mean, I think you got to remember the Cubs are all hands on deck.
All hands on deck.
If he gives up 2 runs in the first, they could pull him because he can't. There is no tomorrow.
Right.
You know what he does? I would not be surprised if I see Monica in there because how many? Would he go 1 or 2 innings and that was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably going to be. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets the first call. To be honest with you.
Oh, I think it'd be later in the game. You save him for later. I mean, like you said,
no, it depends.
Starting pitcher who did pitch just a day ago. I think if they have to use him, he's a 7th or 8th inning guy.
How many pitches did he throw? Did he even throw 30? I don't even know. I know he wasn't in the game.
And speaking of pitching, and we ridicule a lot of bullpens, Eric. The Philadelphia Phillies, I can only name one relief pitcher on that team.
Durant.
Duran.
Oh, yeah, Duran. He wasn't one of them. Sorry.
Yeah.
Matt Strom is the only guy because I like
Strom's
his hair.
decent. That Kirk Green kid.
It's just, I don't know. Is baseball passing us old timers by? I can't name. Dude, I used to be able to. I owned the back of the baseball card when I was a kid. I was like Robbie Dizzle. If Eric said the guy was born on April 14th, I'd say, no, it was April 13th. But now I can't name half the players anymore.
Glenn, you know what the problem is? We're missing two things. There's no more 5 and dime mom pop stores that actually sell
that's a good point.
baseball cards. I mean, you got to remember, baseball cards were so cool. You had the gum that was hard as a rock that you tried to chew that had no flavor. It was almost as bad as the zebra gum. That
would cut you.
Had the
the zebra
that had flavor for like 4 chews.
Yeah.
But really, there's really nowhere to go to get, like you used to. You got to remember, because of Amazon, a lot of people don't go out. You go to stores. Like I went to Safeway today, which down here is, our local thing. They don't sell the cards. No. The only thing they sold that surprised me was that they sell lotto tickets because they can make money. But it used to be, growing up, every place used to be able to get a Sunday paper, which I don't even know if the Chronicle even does anymore. You used to be able to get like a piece of licorice for a penny. They would have like 100 in a box, and you could always get the cards, and it didn't matter. You'd have the NBA cards, but baseball cards, you had it. You remember in Raisin Bran, they'd have the baseball cards in the post Raisin Bran, where you'd have to get the thing. They don't do that anymore. And I think the thing is, we did it for the love, or we did it for the spokes of your bike, which was cool growing up. Nowadays with cards, I just don't even know where to get them.
Yeah, and I just, what I'm saying is, I knew so much more about baseball, and maybe it's just our age, and there's so many changes, and a fresh crop, it seems, every year. The guys retire, you forget they've retired because it's just a revolving door.
Yeah.
And Lou, Eric's the young guy here. You must remember, like I do, when I would go to get my cards, and again, it was like what I call mom and pop shops, right?
Yeah.
And they always had the cooler. You would get your own soda and you'd crack it open right in the cooler.
On the side, on the corner. Yep. With the holder.
Those are the
and
days,
then you would take the top off and it would have a little a place to put the garbage in it.
Well, I wouldn't. I'd always get no surprise. I'd always get Pepsi because in 1979, all the Pepsi caps had a hockey player underneath the cap.
We didn't do that down here.
So I raided the store every day. I'm like, I'll come in every day for free, and I'll just clean out the shop for you. And I would take all the bottle caps and sort them.
So for us, we had Shasta, which is trying to come back online. RC Cola.
RC was the best.
The cherry cola. And then you had Coke and you had Pepsi. This is before they tried to change. Remember, they tried to change Coke, the new improved Coke, which was a disaster.
Coke was horrible.
Yeah.
So, but I think you go to a store, which was not like a 5 and dime, like a Woolworth. You would go to mom and pop thing, and they would have 4 different types of licorice. They would have the baseball cards. And then, and when you'd open it up there, and even the owner would go, "Who'd you get? Who'd you get?" Like it would know. And then they even sold the books where you could actually, it would be a list of all the guys, like what 312 would be Bonds. So you would know you had 312, you had Bonds, but 311 would be somebody.
Oh, you'd be able to get, you could get the sticker books, the sticker albums.
Sticker books.
And then in the off season, I'd be buying Charlie's Angels and Happy Days and the $6 Million Man and Space 1999. I was just a card. If it came on a card, it was like art to me. I loved it.
And that was like when they had bottle caps was the rage. Rocky Road ice cream was the rage. But see, guys don't
remember
realize.
Bottle caps? Do you remember bottle caps? In the green package?
They were the best.
Great.
Root beer.
Those are so good. Root beer was the best.
So again, it's stuff.
The little
kids don't know how great it was. Or the best thing was, and it was probably the most sugarish, where you had 3 different flavors, and then you had the white stick. They had this. There was that dip.
Yeah.
No way.
Fun dip. Fun dip.
Yeah, the fun dip. It was the best.
Dip.
It was the best
Fun
candy
dip.
you could do.
Oh yeah. Okay. Let's just do this. Might as well. Who is the Lou? Have you? I have not seen anyone saying that Hundley is the clear favorite. I just heard he's had an interview. That's all we know.
Yeah.
And look,
and again,
I don't want you guys to think I'm
I think it's
anti-Hundley.
more Susan, Alex, because they don't know any better.
And
they don't know any better.
All they're saying is, he's been interviewed, but
that's all.
How do we know? No one knows who the clear favorite is. The only one who knows who the clear favorite is Buster Posey and company, and they're not going to say anything. They're tight-lipped.
How do you know he wants the job?
We don't even know what job he's interviewing for because there's a lot of positions being open, right? And you know what they haven't announced yet? They've announced Matt Williams and both Ryan Christensen have both said that they're not coming back. So you need to get a third base coach and you need a bench coach, right? Now, I've heard nothing on what's going on with Pat Burrell. No one has said that he is not coming back or whether he is staying. It's just kind of out there. So
sorry, boys. I just you wouldn't believe me. My daughter's in making a snack in there, so I'm rooting around. She said, "What are you doing?" They're called Lick-A-Maid Fun Dips. And I got some up in the cupboard here somewhere.
The Fun Dip with the white sort of...
The 3-pack.
The white stick. They come in different packs.
3-pack.
The Fun Dip.
Yeah, I've got some. I got some here. How cool is that? They may be from 1977, but I still have them there.
Or Pop Rocks. Pop Rocks were another one.
Pop Rocks, when they came out, was huge.
Yep.
Yeah,
I remember the little sacks. You get the little sack of yellow gum, and it was called Golden Nuggets.
I remember when.
Burlap.
What was the other gum that shot out? Not Freshen Up. It was like a piece of gum.
Bubblicious?
When you bit down, something would come out.
Oh yeah, they had
Fresh Up. It was a gum that had some type of a.
Yeah, they had the gel in the middle of them.
Yeah, so when you bite it,
yes.
I
can't remember what those were called.
There was all this creative stuff they kept coming up with. That was just that's how we learned. Did you guys hear about this? Like, remember Pop Rocks? You weren't allowed to put in Coke because of the bubbles, and some kid. The rumor was, he did it and he died.
Hubba Bubba. They were Hubba Bubba.
It wasn't Hubba Bubba.
No, Freshen Up.
No,
Hubba Bubba was the gum. Bazooka.
All right. I gotta address this. This. I have to. Eddie. Hey, y'all, don't mean to be a downer. Currently heartbroken as a privileged cat papa who just lost his baby girl after a long battle with her illness. I please ask for y'all to hug your babies for me. Again, talking about his cat. Eddie, I'm sorry. I know how hard that is, man. You lose a pet like that, especially if they're very dear to you. It's almost like losing a child. It really is. It's brutal. Eddie, I'm sorry that you have to deal with that. It does suck. Just know that your loved one is no longer suffering no more. So, man,
at least two cat lovers right here.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
And from thumbs and little.
Absolutely, along with all our others as well. I know.
I just Googled it. Lou, it's Bubbaloo. Tutti Frutti Bubbaloo's. And I'll show you it.
See, it's not called that. What is it?
No,
see, it was different.
No, that's Bubble. No. This one actually came in like little squares.
They were squares.
Yeah. It was like Freshen Up. It was only out maybe 2 or 3 years.
Here's one I got to ask even the crowd.
There's Freshen Up.
Have you ever chewed that?
Is it Freshen Up, Eric?
Yeah, that's what it is. Freshen Up. I'm looking right at it.
No, we never had Thrills. I never even heard of Razzles until I saw it.
You've never had Thrills?
No, we didn't have it.
Have you ever tasted Thrills?
I've never even heard of it.
It is. It's Freshen Up. I'll be a son of a gun.
You've never tasted Thrills?
Never heard of it. What is it?
You, Eric?
Nope.
They still make it. They still sell it like 2 doors down here from my place where I'm sitting right now. 2 doors down, a little dollar store. They sell it. And their marketing ploy to this day. They've had it since I was a kid. When you chew it, it's purple. It tastes like soap. And what is their marketing?
Tastes like soap.
It still tastes like soap.
Yeah. Toujours la
why would you have it if it tastes like soap?
Oh, it tastes so good. So fresh. It's
okay. We got to talk about this now, guys. Let's get back to Hundley. If he is so sought, hold on. I'm going to ask a question. I want to ask a question. If he is so sought after, how come he's not? Have you heard him interviewing for any other team? Atlanta Braves, Who else is looking for managers? The Washington Nationals.
Haven't heard a peep, but I did hear today one of the favorite now for the Giants is the guy in Cleveland.
Oh, Albernaz.
No,
Craig Albernaz.
Short name.
Albernaz. It's got to be Albernaz. That's it. The bench coach for Cleveland, right? Yeah, I think it's Craig Albernaz.
Is he the new flavor of the day?
Who knows? I mean, we don't know. No one knows. All we can do is speculate, man. We all have our favorites. Glenn,
I mean, how can you trust someone like Susan who thinks
Edgar
that Chapman is a Hall of Famer? You know, again, these guys get paid by the Giants. You know, Alex, same thing. You know, and again, I mean, he's just the flavor of the week. Flavor of the week.
You brought up a good one. You said Will Venable could be a possibility. There's a good one. Glenn, you've talked about Mark DeRosa. I've talked about Ron Wotus. I'm also starting to kind of get high on David Ross, the guy. Hey, you know what thing? There's a lot of in common with David Ross and Buster Posey, by the way. Yeah. David Ross, you know where he's from? Georgia. You know what his position was? A catcher. He's a multi-World Series champion. He's managed before. Supposedly, he's got a great character guy.
He was given 2 days. He's had 2 years off, and it's his second time back. And we talked about that. Sometimes, you know, you learn a lot managing the first time. And when you go back, you know what to expect.
Sorry, it wasn't Cleveland. Bobby Crosby. A's ties.
Who the hell's that? Never heard of him.
I'm reading.
Never heard of him.
ESPN is reporting today. The favorites are Craig Albernaz, Dusty Baker.
Dusty Baker?
Bobby Crosby.
Who's Bobby Crosby?
And Ryan Flaherty. Those are the Giants.
Ryan Flaherty, he's supposed to be the bench coach of the Cubs, but you can't interview him yet because they're still in it until tomorrow. So, yeah, I heard about the Flaherty guy. We don't need another Flaherty out there. Come on now. Or is it Flattery? Which one is it? How does he spell it?
Flaherty, Eric.
Is it Flaherty? But
and the only good Flaherty was Joe Flaherty on SCTV. You remember him?
Loved SCTV. By the way, shouts out, Glenn, if you want to see a great documentary, John Candy.
I've already watched all his documentaries.
Okay.
Oh, it's a new one that just came out, right?
New one, yeah.
It just came out. Yeah, I remember seeing.
And a lot of the Second City TVs, they'd show how good he was. They knew
Gilda
he was
Radner,
going to make it.
Joe Flaherty, Gilda Radner. There's a lot of good ones.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just so you know.
So, yeah, I don't know. Again, it's still up in there. And I'm telling you, there's something that concerns me. I talked about it yesterday. You know, I'm concerned with the possibility of Rob Thompson. They talked about it on Foul Territory. What's his name? The guy with the bow tie, Rosenthal. He talked about Rob Thompson may be out if they get bounced. So now the Giants are going to have to compete with other teams that may
just like free agents. They're going to be free agents, just like free agents during the offseason.
So a potential manager candidate could go, I'm watching what's going to happen in Florida. Sure, I'll go interview, but I might want this job instead. So the longer that the Giants wait, the higher the possibility. I mean, now granted, it may just because of circumstance. Maybe the guys that they want to get may decide to go somewhere else. I
definitely want a guy that's done it before. I don't care if he's done it AA or AAA. You know, he hasn't managed.
That's my hang up.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's my hang up. And look, I'm not looking for I'm not looking for a Dusty Baker. Come on. I'm not looking for a Bruce Bochy. That's not what I'm trying. I just want somebody who's at least at the minimum coached. At the minimum.
Well, there you go. Nick Hundley. What makes the special assistant to the general manager in Texas all of a sudden your bench boss? What is that like?
Look, if you want to make him as a bench coach, that's fine.
You want to make him the manager.
Because if he's the bench coach, you know what? He's going to learn. He's young enough. Look, you could bring in a manager for whatever. For example, you bring in a manager, say, for 3 or 4 years. All right. When he's done, then you could bring in Hundley as it's on the job training. There's nothing wrong with that. I just because again, to fit the narrative of what Buster Posey has been saying, I don't mean to beat a dead horse, is he wants to win. And it's hard to do that with a brand new manager who has never done it before. And look, it might work. I'm not saying it won't. But look, how many times everyone brings up all the people that have succeeded as the first time as a coach, but no one ever brings up the many others that it didn't work. You can't just say, oh yeah, because it worked for this guy, and this guy. But then you never bring up, well, it didn't work for this guy, and this guy. I mean, keep it down the middle. That's all I'm saying is it could
Good
work.
point.
It may not work. That's all.
And more than just baseball, because we watch all the Giants games, either in person or on the TV, and the rarity, I'm listening on KMBR.
Mm-hmm.
I want a guy, for lack of a better word, the sexy pick. I don't want a guy like Bob Melvin who's just back in the dugout somewhere. I want the guy who appears to be an influence, because you're going to have to see him a guy who does a good post game, and he's the voice of the team, and he's a guy in the locker room, and he's a guy you see him going to bat for his players on the field in case of a bad call. I want a manager who earns his keep, not a guy who just sits idly by.
Fair.
But he becomes a face of the franchise. If you had Terry Francona last year, you telling me he wouldn't instantaneously? He becomes, wow, he's the face of your franchise right there.
Yeah.
I want a guy who stands out from the crowd.
They would have had Francona. They would have had probably 6 more wins. They would have been in the playoffs, because he would have
gotten more out of his players too. Yeah. Oh well.
I'm looking up this Bobby Crosby guy.
Another year with Bob Melvin. It was all right, wasn't it, Lou?
Coaching career. Stockton Ports.
Oh, God.
Manager of the Stockton Ports in 2020. In 2022, served as manager for the Mesa Solar Sox.
Who?
The Arizona.
No.
Talking about Bobby Crosby, right? Is that the guy you said?
And
Bobby Crosby?
Just go like Lou said. Go get JT Snow. Jesus.
I'm not high on the JT Snow myself. That's me, but.
And again, Glenn and Eric, you guys know I'm a huge U of A guy. I mean, I love JT Snow. I think he'd be great maybe as a coach. I mean, Nick Hundley, you got to remember, he went from the Giants. He only played 90 games in 2 years from us. It wasn't that great of a career. And then he went to the A's, and then he no longer. So
one thing I ask about JT, and look, he's fabulous Giant, right? But can he toe the company line, so to speak? Because he's been pretty vocal on Twitter, when questioning the Giants. You can't do it. If you're trying to get in with the Giants and want to be part of the organization, you got to be careful. It's okay to criticize, but when you
that's
go
why Will
Twitter,
Clark will never be. He could be a coach, but he'll never be the manager, because he speaks his mind. That's it's one of those things. And I think that's a great point, Eric. You got to do what the owners want.
You have to, because you're being paid by them.
Yeah.
Right.
And again, do you want your first job to be like that? Right. I have to report. If I make a mistake on Sunday, I got to report to 42 people on Monday. With my top 3 reports. You
want to see a guy who's at least going to stick around. And that's why it's an important hire, guys. I don't want to see another 2 years from now this process again. You want a guy who comes in and he holds down this job for a while. I mean, look at Nick Hundley here. Right there. So Nick Hundley couldn't even stick around a team when he played. Padres, Orioles, Rockies, Giants, Oakland, A's. He's all over the place.
David Ross is that's kind of the life of a backup catcher. When you're a backup catcher, you sign on numerous teams.
Well, I won't be happy if they sign.
The only reason I have nothing personal against the guy. I'm sure the guy is a fantastic guy. Marty has said he's very well spoken. That's fine. And he has respect, and that's good. But I'm talking about when you're leading a bunch of guys, talking about the 26-man, 162 games. Look, there's a lot riding on you. Your job isn't just to communicate, but you also got to set up the lineup. You got to be able to make the right moves to the bullpen. I mean, there's a lot to this job, and it could be a lot. And look, I'm not saying that he couldn't do it. That's not what I'm saying. As a San Francisco Giants fan, and as the way the roster is currently constructed, it's not a young team. You got veterans on here that want to go out there and win. And that's what Buster Posey wants to do. He wants to win. So you got to get a guy. And look, I've said this a few times. This is probably going to be his most important decision that he has made as president of baseball operations, because it's his pick. This is his guy that he wants to lead the team. And look, and let's talk about this. There's a segment of the fan base out there that aren't happy with the Adames, aren't happy with Matt Chapman, right? There is a segment of the fan population. So if you add a manager on top of that who isn't living up to the expectations, you're creating even more. Now, is it unfair? I think it's unfair, right? Willie Adames was the best shortstop out there available.
Yeah, and
right?
I think
you got to overpay. Everybody's overpaid.
The fans got to identify with him too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I call him the face of the franchise. Do you think they bring in a manager who 6 months into the year, the home crowd, they're like, who was our manager? I want a name. Now, I was reading that article on ESPN today. You nailed it the other night, Eric. Buster Posey better get, let this play out quickly, because I was reading today, so many teams are expected to make managerial moves.
I know.
The Minnesota Twins.
That's another team that needs a manager.
Craig Albernez again. He is, they say, going to be a finalist for that job. All right. So you start, so let's say he drops. We already lost one candidate. So
yeah, skip.
The longer you wait. And guess who the second, if he bounces off the table, guess who is expected to get the job with the Minnesota Twins?
Who?
Fasten your seatbelts.
I haven't heard.
Kai Correa. Or Correa.
Kai Correa? Really?
Yep.
Well, I kind of, to be honest with you,
base running coach for the Guardians.
Yeah. Who was he? He was the bench coach for Kapler, right?
Yeah, and he managed our team for, what was it, Lou? 3 days, and then
3 days, yeah.
that finished off the
Kapler
season.
got fired.
So, but the thing is Minnesota's cheap as well.
Yeah. Well, Eric, I think you bring up a great point, because say Buster does get him, right? And we don't really pick up any free agents. And in 2 years, we're in the exact same situation again. Well, then you know what? Why would Buster even stay in his position? He'd be going on and starting his 4th year. His team can't make the playoffs. He's spoken a good game. He hired his own manager that couldn't do the job. His picks have all been disaster. That's where you might start thinking, hey, 3 or 4 years down the line, Buster, you know what? I can't do this job. And then we're in a worse situation. So with this being it, this sort of will be the whole entire offseason. So, you don't want to take a long time, but this is more important than a free agent that we got to pick up.
It is.
Because of the big big contracts, Insane Sports Takes talks about that lineup. That's not a playoff lineup. You got to remember, next year, guys, Atlanta's going to be healthy, so they're going to probably take in one of those spots. So it's really going to be probably one spot between 3 teams trying to get it. And I don't want to see Drew Gilbert, Lee, and Patrick Bailey in our lineup, because they're not going to make a difference this year. It's amazing. And you don't know Ramos. The other thing, too, and I know, I think it was Glenn or one of you guys spoke it, the Giants have been so lucky on their starting pitching with injuries. Webb hasn't had a problem. Ray didn't have a problem. Yeah, the Shamrock came out, a couple of our ball players, like Chapman got injured a little bit. Casey seemed to get hit. But, they were very blessed compared to everybody else in the major leagues where, there were some teams that had one pitcher and probably 2 fielders, and everybody else was injured for, an amount of time. And the Giants have been blessed on that. It's not going to happen like that every year. You know what I mean? So I think it's one of those things where this hire has to come through. Buster said, hey, the fans deserve it. Well, we deserve then, Buster, if we're going to talk like that, we need a first-class manager, not a buddy of yours.
Yeah.
And again, hey, he's a U of A guy, so I'm going to support him. I got a few photos where I went on the field and met Nick Hundley, but he's not a difference maker in my mind. And I think we need a difference maker.
Okay. And that's a good point.
That's exactly
a good point.
how
I think
feel.
the Giants kind of need that, right? Here's the thing. you can't keep swinging on these extremes. You had Bruce Bochy, then he was great. Then you overcorrected and went to Kapler. Kapler failed, and you went over back to a Bruce Bochy type and Bob Melvin. And now what do you do? Are you going to go back to like a Kapler type, or do you want to try to get in the middle where it's someone that's, I don't want to say it's,
and as Glenn said,
but it's someone that's solid.
And Eric, you brought up a great point. If Hundley's in such demand and the Giants want him, why isn't he interviewing with anybody else?
Correct. Right.
Especially with all these openings.
All these openings. You got openings all over the place.
Yeah, and on top of that, you got, look at the names that have been thrown out. Vitello, okay?
No.
Hundley, Hallberg, Bobby Crosby,
that's the
Craig Albernez. You know what the issue is here, Eric?
Kurt Suzuki.
None of these are bona fide managers who they're going to have to pay through the nose to get, who are qualified immediately to step in, and there's the manager. Any of those are hired, Eric, I'm going, well, we don't know how this will play out. We'll have to wait till see. You got to get me a name.
And look, it's not even just the name. It's not a name. It's what he is.
A guy his managerial traits.
Yes, and here's the thing, because there's something else you got to think about here too. Lou, you talked about our big contract guys. You're going to have to get buy-in from guys like Chapman, Adames, and Devers, because they're the ones that are getting the job done, so to speak. And if they don't have buy-in with the new manager, you're creating a recipe for disaster. You got to have to get buy-in from the players saying, hey, I can relate to this guy. Granted, if it's a new guy, it's going to have to be earned. But if you get a guy, as you said, Glenn, if he's got a quote unquote reputation, well, then maybe it's a lot easier. So when he comes in, because all the players said they love Bob Melvin, right? So there may be a little bit of just disjointedness there because, hey, we didn't want to get rid of Bob Melvin, but we understand the situation. But now you got a new manager coming in, and now you're going to have to do this all over again and form those relationships. And can I trust this manager? How is he going to play me? Where am I going to be in the lineup? Or whatever it may be. So,
and Nick Hundley's only 42.
Yeah, he's really young.
Really young. And second of all, it wasn't like he was a great player. So, again, when you look, Bochy, he wasn't a great player, but he was a better average catcher, and the other thing is, I don't know why it's always got to be a catcher. I think that's sort of behind it. With the new baseball, there's got to be a different position. It's almost like these guys who are catchers, once they retire, they assume they're going to be a manager. No, that's not how it is. Baseball has changed. You got to get somebody that's there. But I think you guys make a great point. As soon as he walks in, there's a rule. I don't know what the rule would be like, because as we said when we sat in our seats, Melvin was on one side with one other coach. You had all these other guys talking Spanish. I don't think I know what they said. Oh, Melvin, we don't want, but what are they going to say?
Yeah, I know.
The guy just got fired, but right. I didn't think they respected him. I think with the Ramos situation where he would get up and say, well, I don't care what Ramos did. I had nobody else. You got to get somebody when he walks in, sort of like, in Kevin Costner's movie. Yeah, there you go.
So there you got Adames, Flores, Devers, and the guy I always forget.
Further down is Dom Smith.
Dom Smith.
Of course, there's Logan Webb.
Nice seats.
Hey.
But I just think it's one of those things where you got to get somebody that right away when they walk in is going to change the mental and the physical attitude. Little things matter. Running, I like to get a guy that actually would teach him how to bunt, because except for maybe a few times, Giant situation, runners first and second, nobody out, put the goddamn bunt down, hitting in the clutch, actually following when you circle second, have a third base coach that you can actually trust. They need so many different things, and the other thing too is you got to remember, when you bring in a manager, he's going to bring his own coaches in. That's almost just as important. We need a bench coach, as Eric's manager, what he wants, was one of the best bench coaches ever. As soon as he left, that's when all the problems happened.
Yeah,
and,
you noticed that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it all fell apart. Yeah.
All fell apart. And I think it's important that you sort of get somebody that's established. I don't care if you get the young guys, because remember, like when Dusty Baker became manager, he was our hitting coach for 5 years. So he was in the program.
Yes.
He coached. He knew what it took on the major league level. Just because you get somebody, because I think if you get somebody that's, it's almost like a Farhan move. We got him because he was with the Dodgers and the A's, and he was successful then. So obviously, if he comes with us, it's not going to be like that. It happens once in a while. I mean, Dave Roberts was horrible the first 5 years, but he had superstars.
Yeah,
you got to learn. But the Giants are at that point now where they can't bring in an average and a bad manager, because the last two have been a disaster.
And good to that point, Glue, that the state of the club has kind of been in flux, right? You had Bruce Bochy and Sabian for a year. Well, Sabian was there for longer than Bruce Bochy, but they were established. And then in comes Farhan. He keeps Bochy for 1 year. Then comes in Kapler. Kapler lasts about, 4 years or something like that. Then he goes. Here comes Melvin. A year later, there goes Farhan. In comes Posey. Posey keeps Melvin for 1 year. There goes Melvin. Here comes a new manager. We got to get something solid in an
and that's why would a free agent come here? He doesn't know what the hell is going to happen in 2 years with his family. Why would he move out? When you think about it, through all this, except for Webb, can you tell me someone that's been here more than 5 years?
Nobody. The longest tenured position player was Yastrzemski.
Yeah, and he's gone. So Webb, that's it. Our whole lineup. And we're not even guaranteed bringing back Dom Smith. We all talked about how good he was. Well, don't you think another team might want him?
True. That's a fact.
You know what I mean? I mean, we're all we know is the guys with the big contracts. And as Eric said on numerous hot corners, we have 161 million tied up.
Got a lot of money.
Right? So we got money, but we got to also spend it the right way. And we got a good manager that can lead that team. Because I want to be in the playoffs.
Yes. We all do.
Like
right?
it. Yeah. And come up with a new slogan. Have the manager come up with a new slogan, please. Thank God.
I think we're about done, Eric. My God.
I'm good.
When Insane Sports Takes has 23 of the last 25 posts in the chat. I think we've lost them, Eric. We have lost them. We lost the room, boys.
Hey, Insane. We appreciate you, man. He's dedicated, right? He's dedicated. Here we go. Ibrahim, Eric, Glenn, and Lou, our contact core version of Adamas Chapman Endeavors.
I'm Devers.
I like it. Get out of here, man.
I'm just glad to be here. And one last note. How about Glenn's guy? He retires and becomes a manager, Mr. Flores.
Oh shit.
Wilmer.
He could be a coach.
I think Wilmer's too.
He might want to play.
Laid back, blowing bubbles. Nah, I don't think he's aggressive.
You don't think he wants to? Hey, just a wild card. Why not? Sometimes the long shots come in. But hey, guys, I really appreciate filling in. I appreciate being on this show. It's a lot of fun.
Checks in the mail.
Very excited about tomorrow with 4 games.
Woo! Yeah. I know.
Get a good sleep.
And let's see how many teams are going home and how many are going
out of the 4. How many survive?
Oh,
Eric just won the Yankees.
The Yankees. I said just the Yankees survive.
And Lou, you and I think everything closes tomorrow, right?
Yep.
Everything's over tomorrow.
All right. Let's see what happens.
Eric's the glutton for money. Eric needs to do a show. He can't take a day off. He wants to go. Eric wants a Friday night show.
All right, guys. We'll see you back here tomorrow. We'll just say tomorrow because it's a long day. All right. Let's do this. All right, guys. Be good. Woo!
You've been watching Giant Sports Talk Live with Eric and Glenn, a Northern Lights Entertainment Broadcasting production.